Hey crafters, welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm G, and my sister Maudie and we have been working on our Daisy Daydream collection. Now these will all be from a paper pumpkin kit, but I am going to show you 12 fantastic designs that whether you have this kit or not, you will be able to make these designs with whatever you have. Like Maudie and I always say, use what you have. So let's head down to the crafting table. Let's make one together. Then I'm going to show you 5 more designs. The first card that we're going to work on is using something from the kit. Now, this has a circle cut out of it. You could very easily do that with your design. We are just going to take a regular portrait size card that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then we created a mechanism that goes on the inside. Now this is just 8 by 5 1/4, and then we score it at 2 and at 4. And then you fold it over just like this. Now look at that. It's just a Z fold on the inside. Now, the other thing we need to do is we are going to lay this down right on the top, and I'm just going to very lightly draw a pencil mark because I don't have a punch that's big enough for this, but I do have a die that I can cut that circle out. So I'm just very lightly going to draw my circle. And now I'm going to add this right here, and I'm going to take it to my cut emboss machine, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Okay, so we're just going to pop this out. And now we can line this up right here, and you can lay it down flat or you can add it on some dimensionals. Now I'm going to use some glue because I like to be able to wiggle just in case it doesn't go on straight. I want to be able to make sure that I can move it around. So that's why I'm not using tape. But if you're comfortable with using a tape runner and tape, by all means, go ahead and do that. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right here. I'm going to lay it, just line it up on that circle. And look at how pretty that is. Now, this was just in the kit, but they also gave us some stamps that you could replicate this as well. So if you ran out of this piece of paper from your kit, you can go ahead and just use white paper and then just stamp that area. Now the next thing we want to do, so easy to create. We're just going to lay this down just like this, center it top to bottom, side to side. So let's go ahead and get our glue. Just line it up. And you want to make sure and put this down first before you bring back in your circle, because we're going to have a circle right there. Now we're going to close this. This was punched out from this right here. So I'm going to line it up because we have just a little bit of that yellow. Now I'm just going to make sure it lines up perfectly. Just like that. So we just need a little bit of glue right on this side right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, not a lot. We do want it to grab, but we want to have enough time to wiggle it around. Okay, and that's lined up. So I'm just going to push that just like this. This is such a quick and easy card, but oh my goodness, it is so pretty. And now we're going to bring in some items, little punch outs that we got in our kit. We're going to close this. And we're just going to put a little guy right there. Now we're going to have a message right here. Now these were the stamps that came with the kit. You actually got 2 sets of stamps. So we're just going to take this one. We're going to get our Night of Navy. Tap, tap, tap. And I'm just going to put it about right here. So look at that. Now we're going to add our flower. Let's bring in a little bit of tape. Bring in our little bee. And we're not done yet. You can see how pretty that is, but we really need this to pop. And so what I did is I cut out a frame, and look at the difference that creates. It really makes that area pop. So let's go ahead and lay this down. We're just going to use a little bit of glue. And here is our first card. Look at this. How cute is that? Now remember, you don't have paper pumpkin, not to worry. Use what you have. This is our first design. And I want to remind you, all these designs will have a video linked below. Now, this one, no, because I created it with you. But the rest of the cards that I'm just going to show you will have a video link below this video. So make sure that you check those out. Let's look at our Daisy Daydream collection. Now here is another card. We cut apart the card that they gave us, and we just created some panels on the front. This is also from a card that they gave us. And we just added it to the front. Now look at that. This was an envelope that we cut apart. Just a very easy, quick card. Next, we have a gatefold that is a side gatefold. Now look at this. We cut apart the card that they gave us. We just added a few little mats. And then we added a circle. They gave us all these punch outs in the kit. They also gave us that circle right there. But look how pretty that is. This side gatefold will have a video link below this. So pretty. Now this next one, the way we cut it allowed us to create 2 cards. Look at these cards. We cut this card in 3 pieces, and then we just added the pieces to separate cards. But isn't that pretty? We added some of their paper on the inside. Oh my goodness. This Daisy Daydream collection of cards is just fantastic. This was an envelope that we used, and we cut it apart. And finally, for this first group, we did a flap card. Now look at that. This is one of the cards from the kit. We added these cute little areas. We stamped these honeycombs because they gave you a stamp, a rather large stamp. Look at the honeycombs, very large. And we just stamped it. Then we cut apart this and just added it to the inside. What do you think about our first group? Oh my goodness, love these cards. Now remember, we're going to have links for the videos for our side gatefold, these diagonal cuts, and the flap card below this video. But are you ready to see our second grouping of cards? Well, before we do that, let's go ahead and make another card together. It's amazing to have 12 card designs in one video, and we certainly hope that you're inspired by these cards. If you are, we sure would appreciate it if you'd take a moment to give us a thumbs up, share, and like with your friends to help us grow. Let's move on to our next card that we're going to make together. Okay, this is going to be a Z-fold card. Now remember, you can get these measurements over in our blog at creativemomentsbyg.com, my blog. So you just need to look for a Z-fold, and then you'll be able to get those measurements, and they're all right there in a nice little paragraph for you. Okay, so you're going to fold this piece of paper just like this, and then what we did is, look at this. We cut apart a card, and we just added it to a white piece of paper, added a strip. Now, we did have to go outside and get another stamp because we just fell in love with this stamp, and so we wanted to use it right there because we needed something big, right? We also had some cardstock, and we used an embossing folder to give us that beautiful 3D background. Now, for this particular card, you're going to need a Z-fold. This is a Z-fold, but we're going to make a double Z-fold. So we have taken another piece of cardstock, which actually came from this same piece, and we just created another Z-fold. Now, the way this fits together is just like this. And then what happens is it opens like this and creates that nice little box right there. But before we do that, we need to go ahead and lay down our panels. And these panels are going to be right here on this first base card. So let's go ahead and lay that down. Look at that. Now, this is our base card. We want to be able to write a message on here. So we just took a mat and we just cut it the size we wanted. So let's go ahead and lay that down on the back piece of our base card. So we have our base card completed. Now we're going to work on this one right here. This long piece is in the front of our card. So this is where we put this beautiful mat. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my goodness. Now you could put it up on dimensionals if you want, but it just makes it thicker to go into the envelope, right? We fell in love with this stamp set. Or, you know, if you have another stamp set that has daisies or sunflowers, oh my goodness, you can use that as well. But look at that. And look what we did. We took the punch outs that they gave us. We just embossed a little bitty piece of paper, and we're going to put that right there just to make it pop. Try to center it so that you have the same left to right, top to bottom. And because this is a 3D, you do need to get enough glue on it. And now we have one more panel because we're going to jazz it up some more. Look at this. We used their little flower they gave us, and we went outside and found us a happy birthday and stamped it. Okay. And now we are ready to add this to our card, and it's so easy to do. We are going to fold it just like this. We're going to close it, and this goes on the top. So we're going to position that exactly where we want it. So I'm going to once again look at the margins, top to bottom, side to side. That's where I want it. I'm going to make sure it's straight. I'm using my grid mat, and I'm just going to open it and add some glue. Going to close it again. I'm just going to hold it so that it can grab, because remember, it's trying to glue to a 3D embossed mat. So it really needs to take a moment to grab it. Now, once you have this front adhered to your card, this is very easy. All we have to do is open this up, just like this. Put our glue on this back panel and then close the card, just like that. And it's in exactly the place that you want it. So we're just going to hold that for a second. And look at that. Just gorgeous. The cards that they gave us that we were able to cut apart, the envelopes we were able to cut apart, and then they gave us some punch outs. They just added to the card to make it absolutely beautiful. We're going to go ahead and just set this one just like this. Now, let's look at our second group of cards. Look at this. This is a different version of a Z-fold. You still have your little box right here, but this time I moved it up. Instead of putting it in the center, I moved it up so that you could see our little bee. And it's as pretty, and you have more room to write. Now, what makes these Z-folds so nice is that you can move them up and down the card. You can also make this bigger. You don't change the length of it, you just change the width of it. So if you wanted this card to take up more space so that you could have more of these daisies, just make the height of it bigger. And you can do that. You can make it smaller, bigger. You can move it to the top. You can move it to the bottom. That's what makes these Z-folds so much fun to work with. And here's just a little cute flap card. Look at that. We just cut the bottom off so that we could see these cute little daisies. They gave us this punch out. Oh my goodness. It doesn't stand up, no, but it doesn't need to because it is such a cute little card. You could put this right on a present. Love that card. We also have a diagonal cut. Look at that. We stamped this using the cute little stamp that they gave us. We used an embossing folder for this, little daisies. And then we just added some circles. We did a little blending on this white circle right here. Look at how pretty that is. And look at this one. Oh, you open it up. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Just creates a beautiful little scene that you can stand up. You have plenty of room to write on the back. I just love this. This little cutout right here just creates that focal point for you on the card. And finally, we have a slide card. This is a gatefold. This slides out, and can you see how it slides out? You slide this out, open it up, and then this slides back on. You see how we have a little mechanism right there. Very easy to create. And you slide it back on and it holds it in place. So, what do you think about our second group of cards? Our Daisy Daydream collection. Well, we hope you were inspired. 12 card designs that you can use with any kit, with any stamps that you have. We just happen to have this Daisy Daydream, and we wanted to make a collection out of it. We are so excited about these beautiful cards, and we hope you are too. So until next time, Maudie and I are wishing you lots of creative moments. Bye-bye.